We have gone live. And this is just for you. So I'll send you the link as well so that you can watch it later on. Or you can just go to my channel, Miss Thomas, on YouTube, and you will be able to see it. Okay, hold on. All right, so we are back, and hopefully, hold on. Yes. So as you can see, we are outside for our class today in nature. And the reason for that is not only because we want to see God's beautiful nature and his wonderful works, but we're gonna look at some natural phenomena that happens when we have things like the wind, and it's quite windy. If you can, I'm gonna show you. It's quite windy today. You just look at the trees just moving all around, and also it rains a lot. What happens to the environment when those things happen? What happens when the sun beats down on things all the time? We're going to talk about all of those things today. We're going to define them, and then I want you to complete an activity on them. Is everybody with me? I just want to make sure that everybody is hearing me clearly and that you are engaged in the class. So Dylan, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, miss.
Giovanni, are you there?
Yes, miss.
Joshe? Joshe, are you there? Peter, are you there? Samuel?
Yes, miss.
And Brianna, are you there? All right, so we are going to just get started then. So today we're going to talk about a few key terms, and I'm going to show you these key terms, and then we're going to show you them in nature. So first of all, let me just switch my camera, and I want you to take a look at these rocks right here. Now, tell me what you notice about these rocks. What is different about them? What is similar about them? What do you notice about them? Anybody tell me first about this one that I'm holding in my hand? How does it look? Does it look like a bright, brand, smooth rock? Describe this rock to me.
Rugged.
It's? Can you tell me again? I didn't hear you, dear.
Rigid.
It's rigid. Okay, you mean it's rough around the edges, right? It has some rough edges around it, and it looks like you know, it's been around. All right, tell me about this one.
Smooth, miss.
It's nice and smooth, right? Very good. What about this one? Can tell that it's a different kind of soil, right? I took it from somewhere different, right?
Yes, miss.
Maybe it was buried in the soil more than the others. I'll look at this one.
Miss, it looks like it would be more around a wet area.
All right, so you're onto something. So it has some smooth edges here, and then this side is a little bit rough, or it looks like it was chipped or broken off from a larger piece of rock, right? So all of these rocks tell us something. And as Giovanni said, sometimes you can tell if the rock was in a wet area or if it was in a more dry area. So the water especially has a lot to do with the way the rocks look and how they feel. Is that clear? Hello? Hearing me? All
Yes,
right,
miss.
so
Yes, miss.
all right, so let's get back to our lesson then. So we're gonna talk about a term that we call denudation. Now, denudation has to do with how the rocks wear away and wither. So I want you to look again at these rocks. Hang on a second. I want you to look again at these rocks. And if you notice, each of them, it's like each of them have a story to tell. Just like for us, when we bruise and when we get cuts on our bodies and things like that, we have different stories to tell about each of our cuts and bruises. So denudation has to do with the wearing away of the land. And it can be by what we call weathering and by what we call erosion. So I'm now going to point my camera over in this area here. It's a little garden area. And I want you to notice something. Are you seeing it clearly? Hopefully you're seeing it. Hello? Are you seeing the garden area clearly?
Yes, miss.
All right. Now, if you notice here, we have a lot of different like dry stuff, like dry plants that are withered away. And then we have the soil here. And if you notice, the soil here is very loose. So if we had some wind or something to blow away the soil, right? To blow away the dirt that is here, what do you think will happen after a while? This dirt would go away and we would have new dirt blowing over and new things coming in all the time, right? Are you with me? What if I were to flood this area with a lot of water? What if there was a lot of rain and the water rise up, and then all of this dirt and all of these things that are here would be gone, and it would be no green grass like that you see right here. That would change the way this area would be, right?
Yes, miss.
So that is what denudation is about. It's about the wearing away of the land, and it happens because of the weather, and it can happen because of what we call erosion. And so the sun can do it, the rain can do it, frost can do it, ice can do it, a lot of different things can do it. And we call that denudation. So denudation is all about the wearing away of the land, and it can be by weathering, by the weather, and it can also be by erosion. So we're going to talk about these two terms now. We're going to talk about weathering, and we're going to talk about erosion. Now, weathering is when something decomposes, when something breaks down, right? And it breaks down in such a way that or disintegrates, that it is because of the weather. So anytime something breaks down and it is because of the weather, we call it weathering. Now, the important thing for you to note is that no movement is involved in weathering. What this means is that if the sun shines on it, like something like this, if you take a look at this surface right here, if you notice that the paint is stripping away, you notice that? Everybody see that? Everybody see what I'm seeing?
Yes,
Who
miss.
Yes,
can tell
miss.
me why is the paint stripping away from this thing?
Because it was raining hard, miss.
It might be raining and then the sun again shine on it, and then another day it rain again, and then the sun come and beat it down again. And what do you think keeps happening? It keeps breaking down, and pretty soon, after a while, all the paint will strip away, right? And we would have to paint it again. Is that clear? So that's what happens to the land, the surface of the earth. It's called weathering. So what this means is you have something on the land, the soil and the rocks, and after a while, you have rain coming, then the sun comes, then it rains, and in places where it snows, you might have the snow coming. And what happens after a while is that these rocks break up. They break up, they fragment, and they weather, right? It's called weathering. So weathering is when you have the wearing away of the rocks, and they are because of the effects of the weather. Now, remember, in weathering, the rocks don't move. The rocks stay where they are, and rain come and beat on them, and sun come and shine on them, and they just slowly disintegrate and wither away. Is that clear to everybody? Hello? Are you still with me?
Yes, miss.
All right, now we're gonna talk about erosion. Have you ever heard that word before, erosion?
Yes, miss.
All right, so erosion is all about wearing away as well. However, erosion happens when it is carrying, like when the wind come and carry something away, or the water come from the sea or the river and carry something away. And this is usually when you wear away something from the earth's surface by water, ice, or wind. So the water, like the river or the sea, can wear away the rock. The waves come in and wash over the rocks, wash over them and wear them away. Or you can have wind erosion, where the wind blow and blow and blow and blow and blow and blow and move the soil and wear it away. Is that clear? So who can tell me what they think the difference is between, what is the difference between erosion and weathering? What would be the main difference between erosion and weathering?
Mass erosion would be the wearing away of material by any means, but with weathering, it only refers to the wearing away of a material by weather or climate.
All right, that's a great attempt. I love that answer. Now, there are a few corrections to your definition. The main difference between weathering and erosion is movement, right? So in weathering, your rock or the land or whatever it is does not move. It just sits there and the rain comes and beats on it and the sun comes and beats on it, the weather, and that causes it to break down or disintegrate. Now for erosion, it is the movement of the wind and the movement of the water and the movement of the soil that causes it to disintegrate or wear away. For example, when the wind blows and it blows away the dirt, it causes soil erosion, right? And when the sea come and beat against the rocks and the rocks get smooth and wear away, we call that water erosion, because the movement of the water and the movement of the wind is what causes those things to wear away. Is that clear?
Yes, miss.
So weathering is all about, it's called in situ. And in situ, the breakdown of the rock is in situ. In situ means in that place. It does not move. But erosion has to do with the movement, right? The water, the ice, and the wind wear away at the Earth's surface through movement. Is that clear? Clear, everybody? Hello?
Yes, miss. You are clear.
All right. So finally, I want to talk to you about what is called mass wasting or mass movement, and this follows weathering. So when you have the downward movement of rocks and debris and soil because of gravity, so you have something high on a cliff and you see the soil and the rocks just start to come down off of the cliff, right? That's called mass wasting because gravity is pulling them down. And the water, usually, if you say water running off of a hill, the water acts as a lubricant and causes everything to be more slippery and causes everything to be easy to move. So if you have a lot of rain coming on the side of a cliff, then you have what you call mass wasting. So in wet weather, for example, if the snow melts or if you have rainfall, then mass wasting will increase because that is the movement of a large amount of rocks and debris downhill, right? Because of gravity. Now, what I want you to do is you are going to go to Google Classroom, and I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot share my screen with you because I'm not using a computer device. My computer is broken. So it is there in Google Classroom, and there are a number of questions there for you to answer. All right. So I want you to go there and answer the questions. The first question, one of the questions there is asking you, what is denudation? And again, denudation means wearing away of land by weathering and erosion. Another question asks, what is weathering? And what is weathering, class? What is weathering? What is weathering? It's the wearing away of rocks by the effects of the weather. Wearing away of the rocks by the effects of the weather. And no movement is involved in this. No movement is involved in this. And what about erosion? Who can tell me what erosion is? Who can tell me what is erosion? Hello, students, what is erosion? Erosion is when water, ice, or the... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that erosion happens or occurs when substances I can't use about the same word. When substances break down due to processes.
All right, so you have a general idea. So erosion, sorry, my battery is dying. Erosion is when water, ice, and wind wear away at the Earth's surface. All right, and this happens when the water, the ice, and the wind move. All right, so for the final minutes of class, I want you to go to Google Classroom and I want you to complete the activity there, and that will be your monthly assessment for this class. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, miss.
All right, do you have any questions about what we studied today? We learned 3 terms: denudation, sorry, weathering, and erosion. Go ahead.
Miss, can you go over, please?
Sorry?
Miss, can you explain denudation again?
Yes, denudation is the major topic, right? So weathering and erosion is a type of denudation. So denudation simply means the wearing away of the land by weathering and erosion. All right. So anything that wear away the land, we call it denudation. It can be from natural agencies such as the sun, the rain, frost, wind, rivers, the sea, ice, anything like that, that wears away at the land, we call it denudation. All right. Okay, so if there's nothing else, I want you to go to Google Classroom and complete the activity so I know that you understand what we studied today. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, miss.
All right then. So You can always send me a message if you are having any trouble with the activity. All right. Okay, take care, everybody. Have a peaceful and productive day.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.